Ladies and gentlemen, you get ready for the very first round, which is the general round. How many years will a squatter who has occupied a private land be said to dispose of the land if the legal owner defaults in challenging the rival of the squatter if the legal owner did not bring the person there? How many years?
According to the Section 10 of the Limitations Act, a period of 12 years.
And that is correct. 12 years. 12 years. Adverse possession. That's correct. Now to the GIMPA Faculty of Law. We are still talking about land and interest in land. Not Galamsey. The Land Act has introduced another type of usufructuary interest. What is this interest and when can it be acquired? There's a new introduction. What is this interest and when can it be acquired?
When can it be? The customary freehold or the customary interest or customary tenancy is wrong. Customary tenancy.
You have exhausted your 2 attempts. It's a transferable round. So University of Ghana, what is this new introduction and when is it acquired?
According to the Section 5 of the Land Act 2020, the new interest for the usufruct is that acquired by the non-indigent who has obtained the express grant of their allodial order and has occupied the land for over 50 years.
And that is correct. That is correct. For the bonus mark. It's your substantive question. The ideals or notions comprehended by the term command are as follows. 1. A wish or desire conceived by a rational being that another rational being shall do or forbear. 2. An evil to proceed from the former and to be incurred by the latter, in case the latter comply not with the wish. 3. An expression or intimation of the wish by words or other signs. Who made this statement? That is correct, John Austin. John Austin. John Austin. And I just know, right? My guts tell me that you will distinguish yourself on this question. GIMPA Faculty of Law. Who is speaking in this statement? The prophecies of what the court will do in fact and nothing pretentious are what I mean by the law.
Oliver Wendell Holmes.
And that is correct. Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. Please, a round of applause for him. That distinction should have come with the command. Now, University of Ghana, at common law, past consideration is not sufficient to support the enforcement of a contract. State the exceptions to past consideration rule.
Past consideration.
Where the owner expressly asks for the consideration to be done before giving the offer.
Business transaction. Business transaction.
A precise transaction.
For a business transaction.
For a business transaction.
So you are correct that I wanted to appreciate whether you are saying one thing or you are saying many things, because you have said more than one thing.
Okay, so one, where the consideration was expressly requested for by the offeror before making the offer, and then where it's done in line with business transactions.
That's exactly correct. GIMPA Law Faculty. In contract law, there are circumstances in which an offer can be deemed to have been terminated such that a purported acceptance cannot convert it into a binding contract. States 3 ways an offer can be terminated.
An offer can be terminated with lapse of time, it can be terminated with revocation, and it can be terminated when you make a counter offer.
That's correct. Absolutely correct. Of course, when there is death. Of course, when there is a rejection through a counter offer. Battery. Not a car battery. For the purposes of our audience, I mean, the students of law know what I'm referring to. Battery is the intentional and direct application of physical force to another person without that person's consent. I need 3 elements of battery.
A direct act, a voluntary act, and physical contact.
That's correct. Thank you very much. If GIMPA Law Faculty, you were asked to give me 2 more of the elements of battery, what will they be?
So there should be lack of consent, and it should be a positive action.
That is correct. Thank you very much. Please state 2 circumstances or situations that you, as a private person, can effect an arrest.
A private person, according to Section 12 of Act 29, can warrant or can make an arrest if it is done in his presence and he's limited to 5 acts. An act of violence, stealing, or fraud, bodily harm.
Thank you very much. Please end it there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. University of Ghana was trying to go beyond and almost destroyed my questioning. But GIMPA, list 2 circumstances that a private person can effect an arrest.
When the person is in the process of commissioning a crime which will suffice as a felony, that is destroying public property, or when it is done pursuant to a court order.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for University, the GIMPA Faculty of Law. Please, a round of applause for them. At the end of the first round of the second contest between the University of Ghana and the GIMPA Faculties of Law, GIMPA has made 12 points, whilst the University of Ghana has done 16 points. A round of applause for them. The Law Challenge. Now to round 2 of this second round of contest between the University of Ghana and the GIMPA Faculties of Law. Let's talk some more of criminal law, contract torts, and the Ghana legal system. There will be 6 questions in this round. What you do is to press your buzzer And that, for the University of Ghana, sounds like this. And GIMPA, thank you very much. You have 30 seconds within which to answer a question. If you answer correctly, you'll be awarded 3 marks. And for every incorrect answer, remember that you will lose 1 point. There will be only 1 attempt to the question. Only 1 attempt to the question. If you press your buzzer before the question is over, you will be asked to answer it without the question being completed. Where you press the buzzer but fail to answer the question correctly, the opposing team will have the opportunity to press the buzzer to answer the question within 30 seconds if ready to answer. Now, let's get going. I led the Norman conquest of England. I heard this bell first.
William the Conqueror.
William the Conqueror, and that's correct. I led the Norman conquest of England in 1066, which generally marked the beginning of the history of English law. My greatest achievement was the crushing defeat to the Anglo-Saxons in the Battle of Hastings. I am William the Conqueror. Now this is question 2. As a former Attorney General. No. As a former Attorney General and later became Lord Chancellor. When the rivalry between the Court of Chancery and the common law came, the University of Ghana?
Lord Bacon.
Lord Bacon, that is correct. When the rivalry between the Court of Chancery and the common law came to a head in the Earl of Oxford's case in 1615, I advised James to give a firm decision that where common law and equity were in conflict, equity will prevail. I am Lord Bacon. This is the 3rd question. Fastest fingers. I'm a source of law in Ghana. I'm only applicable in Anomabo. Yes, GIMPA.
Customary law.
Customary law, and that is correct. I'm applicable to Anomabo alone, and my application is limited to the particular community in Ghana. That particular community in Ghana. I'm customary law. Here is your question number 4. I only apply where a court has reached a decision in the absence of knowledge of a decision binding. Yes, University of Ghana.
Per incuriam.
That is correct. The doctrine of per incuriam. I only apply where a court has reached a decision in the absence of knowledge of a decision binding on it or a statute. And that, in either case, I can be shown that had the court this material, it must have reached a contrary decision. I am the doctrine of per incuriam. Question number 5. I'm generally referred to as goods suitable to the conditions in life of the person to whom, yes, University of Ghana?
Necessaries.
Necessaries. I'm generally referred to as goods suitable to the conditions in life of the person to whom they are delivered and his actual requirements at the time of the delivery. When a person under 21 purchases me, he is expected to pay a reasonable price. and I am necessary. To our very final question in this round. I am a unique section in Ghana's Contract Act 1960, Act 25. I ensure that where a person has made a promise to waive a debt or part of it, University of Ghana,
Section 8(2) of the Ghana Contracts Act. Act 25.
Section 8, subsection 2 of Act 25. I ensure that where a person has made a promise to waive a debt or part of it, he will be bound by his promise, even in the absence of any fresh consideration. Yes, I am Section 8(2) of Act 25. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to our contestants. It's been an interesting contest so far, and at the end of the second round of this second competition, GIMPA made 3 points, and University of Ghana made 15 points in this round. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we proceed to our next set of questions in the third round, and that is the profound quotes and identification of a personality within the legal profession. Each team will be given 3 questions and will be asked to identify the personality the quote is attributed to, and or in which case each team will be given 30 seconds to answer the question. If answered correctly, 10 marks will be awarded. 5 marks for a partial answer. That's if it's a correct answer. There will be only 2 attempts to each question. 2 attempts. And thankfully, there's no negative marking in this round. What you need to know that this is a non-transferable round. The questions will not be transferred. So, GIMPA Faculty of Law, here is your question. A written constitution such as ours is not an ordinary act of parliament.
Attorney General, Suwa GSE.
And that is correct. Tofo versus Attorney General, and that was SOA JSC speaking in that case. For the purposes of our audience, I need to complete this quotation. A written constitution such as ours is not an ordinary act of parliament. It embodies the will of a people. It also mirrors their history. Account, therefore, needs to be taken of it as a landmark in a people's search for progress. It contains within it their aspirations and their hopes for a better and fuller life. The Constitution has its letter of the law. Equally, the Constitution has its spirit. And thank you very much, GIMPA Faculty of Law, for that wonderful rendition. Now to the University of Ghana. Here is your quotation. Yet this court is being invited to prevent the government from spending monies which Parliament has constitutionally provided for government use. I think if the order is granted, it would amount to judicial officiousness, poking our noses into the affairs of Parliament and intermeddling with the prerogative of the executive by directing the government not to spend monies approved by Parliament. Such a move clearly amounts to a violation of the doctrine of separation of powers, which is the core of our Constitution 1992. In which case was the above contended, and by whom?
The New Patriotic Party versus Attorney General. the 31st December case.
And that is correct. But who was speaking? You have only one more attempt to complete it.
Acha.
That's correct. Acha JSC. All right. So here is your quotation, GIMPA. This contention seems to me highly artificial, and I cannot believe that with the known pragmatism that informs judicial attitude towards questions of legislative interpretation, the Attorney General have thought an argument as this was likely to carry seasoned judicial minds. We should fail in our duty to effectuate the will of the Constituent Assembly if we interpreted the Constitution not in accordance with its letter and spirit, but in accordance with some doctrinaire juristic theory.
Salah versus Attorney General.
Yes, go on.
And the judge speaking is Apollo JSC.
That is correct. That is correct. Now to the University of Ghana. The scope and extent of the doctrine of separation of powers, in my respectful view, and as I understand it under the Constitution 1992, is to ensure that each arm of state, in the performance of its duties within the framework of the Constitution 1992, is to act independently and should not be obstructed in the exercise of its legitimate duties or be unduly interfered with. In other words, all arms of the state are answerable or responsible to the Constitution 1992. Who is speaking and in which case?
Justice Edward Redu in Edusei number 2 versus the Attorney General.
Edward Redu, correct?
Ghana Bar Association. And the
That
Attorney
is
General.
correct. That is correct. Now, GIMPA Faculty of Law. Who is speaking and in which case? Although a meeting was not invalidated merely by the accidental omission to give notice of a general meeting to a member, the deliberate withholding of notice of a meeting to a member invalidates it. Who is speaking and in which case?
See anything like
2 opportunities.
that's it.
Please let there be quiet in the audience. Unfortunate you have been bailed out. Who are you thinking? And which case were you thinking?
Mansu and a boy.
Sorry?
Mansu and a boy.
No.
No, it's not.
Did you think of any?
We didn't think.
You didn't? In the audience, not Jemfi. That is correct for 100 marks. All right, so to my final question, quotation. University of Ghana. Citizenship is a man's basic right, for it is nothing less than the right to have rights. Who is speaking and in which case?
Shalabi versus the Attorney General.
Who is speaking?
Apalu.
Are you thinking of something?
Yeah.
Who are you thinking?
He from Benjamin.
In?
Shalabi versus Attorney General.
You are correct.
But it's not transferable.
But yes, it's non-transferable. You know already, oh? Yes. No, you did. She did 2 attempts.
She did too.
Yes, 2. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for our contestants. Let's now get to identify these personalities in the legal fraternity. Now to the Faculty of Law, Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, Green Hill. Please identify the image on your screen.
Justice Amadou Tanku.
Justice Isifu Umoro Tanko Amadou. Thank you very much. A round of applause for him. University of Ghana, please identify the image in your shot. Who is that?
Justice Bafu Boni.
Justice Paul Bafu Boni of the Supreme Court of Ghana. A round of applause for University of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, and that brings us to the end of this 3rd round in this 2nd competition between University of Ghana and the guys on the Green Hill, GIMPA Faculty of Law. At the end of the 3rd round, GIMPA Faculty of Law, 30 marks. University of Ghana Faculty of Law, 35 marks. A round of applause for our contestants. Ladies and gentlemen, now to our very final round, which is the rapid fire round. Every team will be asked to nominate 1 member from their team, who is the captain. A nominated member will be asked 10 questions in 120 seconds. 3 marks will be awarded for each correct answer. The nominated member may decide to skip any question, but any incorrect answer shall not be withdrawn. Where a team has more time, they will have the opportunity to answer questions they skipped or passed on. So, let's begin with the University of Ghana Faculty of Law. Your time starts now. A person who is arrested, restricted, or detained for the purposes of bringing him before a court in execution of an order of a court or upon reasonable suspicion of his having committed or being about to commit a criminal offense under the laws of Ghana and who is not released shall be brought before a court within 24 hours after the arrest, restriction, or detention. True or false?
False.
That is false. 48. Article 1621 of the 1992 Constitution guarantees the freedom and independence of the media. True or false?
True.
That is true. The judicial power of Ghana is vested in the Chief Justice. True or false?
False.
That is false. The provision of Oxford 1258 AD severely limited the extension of the law and prohibited the issue of new writs by limiting it to those available before the year 1258. True or false?
True.
And that is true. Please, audience members, keep your answers to yourself for now. Strict liability only requires mens rea without actus reus. True or false?
False.
That is false. If you had depended on the audience member, you'd have gotten it wrong. Defamatory words published against a person in his personal capacity or calling are actionable per se. True or false?
Libel is actionable. Libel under common law.
False.
That is true. There is no right of survivorship under a tenancy in common. True or false?
True.
That is true. I will have my final question. Section 14.3 of the Conveyancing Decree 1973, NRCD 175, states that where a grant of land is made to two or more persons, it is presumed to be made to them as joint tenants unless a contrary intention is expressed in the grant. True or false?
True.
False. The case of Asare vs. Attorney General 2011 to 2012 held that allowing persons of dual citizenship hold sensitive office will run counter to Article 284. True or false?
False.
True. The land which carries the burden of the right of easement or over which the right is exercisable is called servient tenement. True or false?
True.
That is true. And that is the end for the University of Ghana. Now to GIMPA. The secondary intent which is formed whilst doing an act, that is the desired result, is called the basic intent. True or false?
False.
That is false. Provocation is a complete defense to a charge of murder. True or false?
False.
That is false. Audience members, please, I can hear your whispers. In the case of Sam versus Attorney General 2000, it was held that one can enforce the right of another on the person's behalf. True or false?
False.
True. Equality before the law requires equal treatment of those similarly placed, implying different treatment in respect of those with different characteristics.
True.
This statement was first made in 10 Ade versus Electoral Commission of Ghana. True or false?
False.
False. Profit apprende is a right attached to a particular piece of land which allows the owner of such land to use or restrict the use of land belonging to another person. True or false?
True.
False. Generally, in general offers or offers for unilateral contracts, the law implies from the nature of the offer that the requirements of actual communication of acceptance is waived. True or false?
It's true.
True. The postal rule applies exclusively to acceptance by post, telex, telephone, and fax mail machine. True or false?
False.
False. In Ghana, international treaties and conventions assume automatic operation.
False.
True or false? That is false. We are not a money's country. A high court judge is bound to follow a judgment of another high court judge. True or false?
False.
That is false. A special feature of joint tenancy is the right of survivorship. True or false?
True.
That is true. A round of applause. And that brings us to the end of the contest between the University of Ghana and the GIMPA faculties of law. The law challenge. GIMPA have shown mettle. At the end of the fourth round, GIMPA made 24 points as against University of Ghana 21 points. A round of applause for them. In the final analysis, GIMPA made 69 points as against University of Ghana's 87 points. A round of applause for all our contestants. In the premise, I have the honor to declare University of Ghana the victors in the contest, in this contest between themselves and the GIMPA Faculty of Law. So a round of applause to Emmanuel Akpagli and Esther Etonam Wayo. Let's also acknowledge Joseph Ajay and Matthias Kubil. And the Law Challenge is brought to you by the kind sponsorship of Goyle, Good Energy, Sun Lodge Hotel, an experience worth repeating. Ghana Revenue Service, Logistic Movers, we move you there. Mayjoy Blossom Ventures, drink fresh, live good. Amazing Jewelry, GCB Bank PLC, your bank for life. JoyNews, most credible and reliable TV news channel. On this note, and on behalf of the consultants and management of the Law Challenge Ghana, I say thank you all for making time to join us for today's contest. Make time to join us next week for another interesting edition of the Law Challenge. The Law Challenge. Thank you very much.